is a fully immersive VR game where your whole body is tracked from head to toe, and you can actually be fully immersed in the Star Trek world, and you can do it with 5 of your friends as well. So a lot of
I am the content designer for Star Trek Timelines. Star Trek Timelines is a mainly character collector-based mobile game. It's available on PC now too. And basically, as a captain, you're able to assemble a team of whatever characters you love and take them on whatever missions you need to.
Hi, my name is Chanel Summers. I am the Vice President of Creative Development for VR Studios. We have created Star Trek Dark Remnant from the Kelvin timeline, and we did this for Dave & Buster's. This is a virtual reality attraction for their proprietary simulator. Super exciting, and in fact, Dave & Buster's has brought a simulator here to the show, so I would love for all of you to try it out. It's awesome.
Hey, my name is Avery Sakamoto. I'm a designer on Star Trek Fleet Command, available on iOS and Android. That's my wife. And the core game is a strategy game, but it really dips heavily into a lot of narrative. You have free-roaming ships and officers that you can acquire from the Kelvin timeline as well, and put on the ships, and really touches base with a very large MMO experience.
I'm Thomas Moroni. I'm from Cryptic Studios. I work on Star Trek Online, which is massively, I guess you guys know what it is. It's massively multiplayer, free-to-play online game on PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. You can create your own Star Trek crew, your own Star Trek captain, fly ships around, blow them up, but also, explore strange new worlds and stuff.
That's just your wife, too.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you all for being here. You're all working on things that are, despite the fact that they have a common thread of gaming, they're all wildly diverse and different things that you're involved in. So let's dive into it a little bit. I'm going to start with Jared from GameCo. Video game gambling. I think that's a concept that baffles a lot of people. It's like, well, it's either a game or it's gambling, right? Or how exactly does gaming and gambling intersect in your world?
Thank you, John. So, GameCo we tout ourselves as the video gambling casino company. And basically what that means is that we're investing in next generation gambling machines. Essentially, when you walk out on the casino floor today, you'll see, hundreds of slot machines, and all these slot machines are regulated. They use the normal method of slots. You make a wager, you spin the reels, and then you get an outcome. And so, what we're doing at GameCo as a startup over the last 5 years is developing the next generation slot, if you will. We believe that this is based on what people like to do today, which is play video games. And so we're basically taking the concept of the video game, think casual games on your mobile device, Match 3, Tower Defense, and we're turning them into certified regulated gambling products that you can go, once you visit your casino, play them and wager on them for real money.
And we've got a quick little bit of video here for you. It's a very rudimentary teaser. But I think a lot of people will be very excited that it is a Deep Space Nine.
I feel like we should maybe hum a few bars.
Anyway, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Red Alert. Tell us a little about Red Alert and why you selected Deep Space Nine specifically.
Sure, so as I was talking about the type of genres of games that we're pursuing at the moment, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Red Alert falls under a tower defense genre. So if in the audience, if you're familiar with this type of game, usually there's tower, and there's some sort of enemy that is approaching, and then you have to defeat the enemy. So common mobile type of game. And so as we were partnering with CBS and thinking about using the Star Trek license and the Star Trek universe to create a gambling product, we thought about what sort of movies and ideas in the TV shows were presented that we can use in this tower defense. So Deep Space Nine kind of immediately came to mind. Deep Space Nine being the fortress in this situation, and you have the protagonist, being Romulan ships or any number of different enemy ships from the show. And basically, what you do in our game is you make a wager by shooting your weapons at those ships. Once they are destroyed, you've made a wager, and we show you your outcome, which is a prize. So the Star Trek universe offered a huge library of technology, of ships, a huge catalog of things that we could use to create that immersive experience and bring it to the casino floor.
All right. And you do have a little bit of a sneak peek back here in Quarks. You've got some manner of display there. Can you tell us a little bit about that for people to check out while they're here?
That's right. Right next door, we have a display of our new cabinet that we affectionately dubbed our TARS cabinet. The TARS is just a new cabinet on display, and it will launch with Star Trek Deep Space Nine this fall. So you can take a sneak peek at what it will look like right after this panel.
Awesome. I'm excited about it because I kind of think that Deep Space Nine was 7 seasons of tower defense. And I think those are some of people's favorite episodes, is when they were defending or trying to retake the station. So I think it's a great concept for it. We're going to move now to what was, I think is kind of literally the 800-pound gorilla in the room, or probably more than that. I'm not sure exactly how much the Dave & Buster's Dark Remnant rig in the exhibition hall runs in terms of weight, but it's hard to miss if you're in there. 4 players can go on at once. It's great to try out, but Chanel Summers is here from VR Studios, who helped craft the game for Dave & Buster's. And sound willing, we've got a little clip of it here, so we're gonna jump into that, and then Chanel, you can tell us a little bit about how we got here.
Unknown ship approaching, sir.
Klingons.
Federation vessels, I am Grand Turk of the Klingon Empire. Your intrusion into the neutral zone is an act of aggression that cannot stand.
The Klingon ship systems are compromised, but their weapons are still operational.
Commander Spock, we'll try to distract the Klingons while the Enterprise recovers.
That is the most logical course of action. Galileo, the fate of the Enterprise rests solely in your hands. Will you rise to the challenge?
Drones! Don't let them get too close.
When you play the game, there's 3 possible ways that the story could branch out as you go along, and you just got the best one, which is where the red shirt bites it. It's blown out of the ship. So I was thrilled that was the one that you sent for us. So tell us a little bit about how you came into doing VR and doing the Star Trek game for Dave & Buster's?
For sure, John. So, just to give you a little bit of background on VR Studios, we've been doing location-based entertainment, virtual reality, for almost 7 years. We were one of the first companies. We actually created, created multiplayer wireless VR. We were initially doing our own proprietary headsets, but didn't want to be in the hardware business, so moved out of that. But we are a leading provider of large-scale, commercial-grade, multiplayer, wireless, free-roaming, virtual reality solutions for location-based entertainment businesses. We work with companies like Dave & Buster's, Cineplex, Persian Entertainment, 343 Industries, Universal Orlando, and Cedar Fair Entertainment, just to name a few. And how we came about with this is we have a long-standing partnership with Dave & Buster's. We have been working with them on different VR solutions. And they wanted to do something very different. They wanted to do something super cool and different than any of their other competitors were doing. And so they came to us with this idea of this proprietary simulator that would be, enabled through virtual reality. And so they came to us because of our experience and expertise, and we worked with them to help make this vision a reality. And so the first experience for the simulator was the Jurassic World experience, and we helped support that, working with the virtual reality company to do that. Then next we built Dragon Frost, which was an original IP. And then Dave & Buster's came to us and said, hey, we want to do something with Star Trek. What do you think? And we were like, oh my gosh, that would be fabulous. We just jumped at that opportunity. And so that was where Star Trek Dark Remnant came about. And they had a very specific objective for it. They wanted to do the Kelvin timeline. And so they had some broad brushstrokes on the concept, and then we worked with them to really fill what that was going to be, fill that out and develop it out. But it's a super exciting game, and kind of as John alluded to already, there's a ton of variability. It is never the same game twice. So in addition to multiple endings, so even if you write it once, you haven't experienced it. You have to write it many times. So it's highly replayable. So there's multiple endings. You also got to witness the poor fate of Ensign Collins through a hull breach. There's variability in gameplay, so the gameplay subtly changes as you play at different times. The dialogue responds in real time to your performance. With the Klingon ship, there are different attack patterns and cloaking and decloaking behaviors and movements. So highly replayable, super fun, amazing game. And we took a lot of the well-established Star Trek frameworks, but then we created all new story elements and characters to really bring something exciting and new and fresh.
And something you don't see in there also is you brought in Zachary Quinto to reprise his role as Spock as well.
Yes, correct. So Zachary Quinto, so he's Spock, and he comes and he transmits to you from the Enterprise. Because what's happening is you are on the USS Galileo. So this is like Starfleet's newest, most advanced stellar research vessel. And you're accompanying the Enterprise on this routine mission, or so you think, a routine mission, where you have to kind of evacuate this alien outpost, and then also you're there to study a neutron star that's, starting to kind of go down. But what happens is it prematurely implodes, and that incapacitates the Enterprise. So now it's kind of up to you, the cadets on this USS Galileo, to defend the Galileo, to defend the Enterprise, to battle Klingons, and make everything right again.
Awesome. Well, we're going from something very new in the Star Trek world to something that is an old and grizzled veteran now. Sorry, Thomas, but you're now old and grizzled. But Star Trek Online is going to be celebrating an anniversary, 10 years coming up. Which is astonishing in the MMO game where people are always off to, the new shiny, and you guys are still, shining this many years in. So tell us really quickly, what is Star Trek Online for any that people that are not applauding? What is it? Why should they be playing it? And what have you guys been up to recently?
Yeah, so Star Trek Online is a free-to-play, massively multiplayer game on PC, Xbox One, and PS4, like I said before. The really cool thing about the game is that you create a Star Trek captain, and you can customize how the captain looks. You're not playing Kirk or Picard or whoever. You're making your own captain. You can make it look like yourself, or you can play an Andorian. You can play Klingon, Romulan, even a Geminar, or of course Starfleet. And then recently, we have launched the Era of Discovery that we've been calling it, which has had 3 releases that all feature stars from Star Trek Discovery that actually come into the game. Yeah, there we go. And so we started off with Tilly, and we also have Captain Killy. You fight against her. Most recent release in Rise of Discovery had Rekha Sharma and Jason Isaacs both reprise their roles. And that one's actually cool because it's a prequel to Discovery. So you find out why does Landry have such a chip on her shoulder. We actually have a really cool prequel story for her. And you actually get to interact with Prime Lorca before he swaps with Mirror Lorca. So the greatest thing about STO, and I think why we stuck around for so long, is because we've been able to use our sort of rich character art, rich ship art to expand the universe and kind of fill in all these different gaps. And we've collected quite a menagerie of Star Trek actors to help us tell those stories.
What specifically is your role with Star Trek Online? Because there's a lot of people that work on the game. What's your role, and how did you come to be working on Star Trek after being a fan?
Yeah, I was a fan growing up. Watched it with my mom. Long story short, Cryptic kind of drafted me as a fan and a player. I came to work on the game, and now I make the spaceships of the game, which is one of the most favorite things people really enjoy, is flying different ships around. We have about 700 different ships that can fly in the game, and so I do the art for those ships. And here we've got some images. One of the awesome things about Star Trek Online is that its primary timeline is in the future of Star Trek, so the 25th century, so even further ahead than Picard will be. And so with Discovery, we've had the opportunity to take some of these ships that showed up in the 23rd century of Discovery and modernize them to the Star Trek Online 25th century aesthetic. And just a kind of a segue really quick, we're also bringing Commander Stamets into the 25th century as well. Anthony Rapp will be joining Star Trek Online. We'll talk about that more on our panel on Sunday at noon. Is that right? Noon, yeah. 2? Oh, sorry, it's at 2. So come here, I believe, and we'll join us with Anthony Rapp and talk about Star Trek Online Awakening.
Does anybody in here want to see some ships from the 950 years into the future of Starfleet?
We'll make it happen.
I do too, but we're all going to have to wait for season 3. And I know that was really not very nice. I know no one is more anxious to see that than Thomas is.
I'll settle for Picard. I'm excited about those ships too.
There's a Picard ship. Moving all the way down to the other end, Fosri, Lucid Sight. you're working with blockchain, which I think is something everybody hears a lot about and knows that's an important thing. And nobody really understands exactly what it is or how it works. What can you tell us about how blockchain and Star Trek intersect?
Sure thing, thanks Sean. Yeah, at Lucid Site, we work on blockchain technology, primarily how it relates to gaming. And one thing we came across in the last few years is using the same technology that makes Bitcoin and Ethereum immutable, scarce, and valuable. You can apply those principles to in-game items and in-game assets. And this ends up taking a really interesting turn when you look at player economies and how users are trading and creating sub-economies in the game, even beyond the control of the developer. And with Star Trek, we're going to be releasing later this month 6 iconic ships from the television series, from TOS, TNG, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, into the game, and these will be the first official Star Trek assets that will be scarce, immutable, and trackable on the blockchain. So similar to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies, each one of these can be individually tracked. The provenance is able to be tracked between users and can be traded among users.
So what specifically are you releasing, and when and where and how can people obtain?
Sure thing. We'll have some great art. Our team did a phenomenal job integrating these into the CSE universe, which CSE is a separate space MMO RPG akin to EVE, a little bit more casual, and is available through Steam. We are going to be bringing the original series Enterprise, the next generation Enterprise, Enterprise D, the USS Defiant, the IKS Rataran, General Martok's Bird of Prey. Deep Space Nine is a favorite of our teams as well. I think we have also the Runabout shuttle from Deep Space Nine and USS Voyager.
I'm led to believe, if what I hear is correct, that you're a little excited about being here and on stage at the Star Trek convention.
Just a tad excited. Yeah, this is my first Star Trek convention. I'm just super excited to be here. Super excited that we're able to bring Star Trek into a game that we created. I know our entire office is full of fans. I remember when we were making the first concept mock-ups for the USS Enterprise D, our artists made sure that all 3,273 windows were on it for the concept that we were pitching. So it's just, it's phenomenal for the team, for myself, to be able to represent this brand, and also do something very unique, bringing this to blockchain technology, making it scarce. I go into this tomorrow in our talk, but really, blockchain technology has a lot of applications that people are going to start seeing coming out as years progress, and primarily changing the way we see digital, where digital items they used to be ephemeral and you could delete and copy. When you use blockchain technology to secure them, it's very difficult to do that. You can actually lose digital items, and there's a lot of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other assets that have been lost over the years because of the way it's designed. It's actually quite interesting, and there's actually some examples I'm going to point out tomorrow how actually blockchain technology might have existed in the 24th century that we may not call that today.
Avery, you work for Scopely, who has recently released Star Trek Fleet Command, which is available on mobile devices, iOS, Android, and has, to say it's had quite a launch is a little bit of an understatement. You guys have done very well, but tell us a little bit about what Star Trek Fleet Command is.
Yeah, so it is a mobile game. At its core, it's a strategy genre. But like I alluded to earlier, we really tried to push beyond just the typical, I'm going to build my base and just build things and stuff, into this really vibrant, Star Trek universe. Star Trek is such a powerful franchise.
Yeah, I think
we really wanted to tap all of it.
One of the key things, it is a strategy game, and in a way, it's very different from that, but when you go into sort of the basic star map, I see that and I kind of feel like, oh, it's sort of like Risk in a way, that you've got this big map and you're going everywhere and you're going on these missions and things. But yeah, tell us a little bit about that. And obviously we see 3 dominant factions there.
Yeah, players definitely make it a bit like Risk. The core content itself is you're, in the Kelvin universe, you're an independent operative, and you can actually choose which faction you want to like align yourself with. And this fundamentally changes the options you have in the game in terms of narrative options and what ships you have access to. But we really do try to touch on that narrative aspect a ton and make the universe come alive. One of the only games, strategy games that I know of that have these missions you can perform and tasks you can do for different people. You can do missions for the Suliban and Dorians, and of course the main three factions. But we also did like Khan as a faction from the film, the recent films, as an augment faction. So it's after the movie, you get him out of Federation prison, and then he founds like this little niche empire where he does his little experiments and further his story.
Yeah, there he is, as well as
Oh,
a Kelvin version of the Botany Bay up there, which is a ship that you can get and play in the game as well. At this point in the game, as we're getting to the point where people are definitely cleaving into their factions, it feels like the Federation is not, I mean, I'm on the outside, I haven't seen all the numbers on this, but I feel like the Federation's losing here.
Losing?
Well, I feel like there's more people aligning with Klingons and Romulans than there are Federation. I could be wrong.
I totally expected them to be the, your hands in there, right? But Federation is the most popular so far. I think people like Kirk and Spock and stuff. So I think you should go Romulan and go run their days.
All right. And we've got another screen here that gives you a look at the characters. You've got a vast number of different characters that you can acquire to help with your ships. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so again, like not only pushing into the narrative aspects and exploring the storylines that we can evoke in the Kelvin universe, but also these RPG aspects of acquiring officers, training them up, and then using them. You can see there's these skills on the right, unique abilities that they provide for your ships that have different effects in different situations, and really customizing and making like a really good combination for what you want to do in the game. I don't know the exact number, so this is just a ballpark of that, but it's something like 80 officers, 60, 80 officers that we have, and constantly releasing.
How do I get Keenser?
You can get Keenser.
Okay. We'll handle it.
Yeah.
All right, moving back into the VR front, Michael Hampton is somebody who I just met for the first time, but I have been on countless emails and a number of phone calls, etc. Is working on another location-based VR experience, but it's very different from what the Dave & Buster's is. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're working on? And we just announced this week, Star Trek Discovery Away Mission.
Yeah, I'm so excited today to tell you a little bit about Star Trek Discovery Away Mission. We've got a team that's working super hard to bring the most immersive Star Trek experience we think has ever really been done. In our VR centers, we've got motion tracking cameras all over the room, and you're tracked head to toe, so you can actually walk around and explore these worlds that we create. And the theme of this game is you're going to be part of an away team. So we thought, what are some of the fantasies that you have watching Star Trek? What would you want to do in that show? One of the things that everybody said when we asked them was, "I'd love to go on an away mission." And so that's kind of what we're bringing. Through the mission, you're going to do a lot of things that are very Star Trek. You're going to be fighting your phasers, of course. You're also going to be cooperating using your tricorders to try and solve puzzles and figure out, the mysteries of what is taking place in the world that you're exploring. I don't want to say too much and ruin the story, but it's pretty darn exciting.
We do have a trailer for the game that we can go ahead and show now as well. So let's bring that up. hints at a lot of things. Is there anything more in detail that you can give us about what the adventure is going to be like?
It's not what we agreed on, John. I told you nothing more than this. No, I think that you know, one of the cool things that you can see in the video is people actually moving their bodies, and so you can be in a phaser battle, for example, with somebody. You can have that shootout, and you're really using your real body to crouch down, pop up, take a shot. You're using your tricorder by sort of stretching out your arm and trying to just scan the thing that's beyond you know, a place you're trying to look at, or you're laying down to look at maybe some footprints. There might be some footprints. That's a spoiler in the game. And it's really exciting. And the thing that's been so great for us, and John touched on this at the beginning, was the chance to work with CBS so directly and get so much help. I think I've said, John, on a spreadsheet with like 700 asset requests at one point.
I think we may have gotten half of it.
Yeah, but I got half. I can't complain. So yeah, it's been awesome working with you.
Yeah, we have had great cooperation with the production on Discovery, especially Jason Zimmerman and his VFX team, and helping provide some of the original 3D models and things like that. So when you are seeing this, you will have assurance that the source material for it is absolutely there. I'm really excited about having the opportunity to play this fight. So when are we beta testing?
Well, I think we're going to be ready to test it in probably about sometime in September. We're aiming at right now, and then we're going to try and launch at our locations. Well, I'll just say later this year. I don't want to confirm exactly.
After that, launching after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody up here that is involved in gaming can understand that a deadline is something that you pass through on the way to completing a project. And for us, we very much want to make sure we get it right rather than get it fast and just get it out the door. And that's something that's very important to those of us that work on Star Trek every day, because we know how much the details matter to all of you, and so we do sweat that, and we try and really make those little tiny things like, you know, poor Ensign Collins getting blown out of the front end of the ship. Those things are very important to have in there to just add a little extra fun. Ariel, Ujikevich.
Hi.
Did I do that good?
Perfect.
I'm excited about that. Disruptor Beam and Star Trek Timelines. Not around as long as the old grizzled Thomas here. Not as new as Michael. Somewhere in the middle, but also I think something that's become very beloved by a lot of fans. Can you tell us a little bit about Star Trek Timelines?
Yeah, so Star Trek Timelines now is 3.5 years old. During that time, we've released about actually over 700 different crew. Our characters are from all different. Thank you.
757.
It's tough because every week we have so many new characters, and that's something that I focus on every week as a content designer. Yeah, our big thing every week is delivering new content, new characters, and events. And been doing this since launch. And every event has a brand new narrative. We've got an excellent story writer. She actually works with John Delancey, coming up with some of these ideas too. So that's something that we've always held really dear to, and feel like, you know, that's kind of what allows us to be able to bring so many characters from TOS, TNG, Voyager, Enterprise, and Discovery. So we never really focus on one timeline at the same time. We always are merging them, and I think something that's really unique about the story is Q originally comes in, introduces to the player what's going on with the timelines, and that there's all these anomalies, and this is what allows us to bring all these characters together.
And we do have a quick video for you as well, so let's go ahead and roll that. Kurtz are there? How many Kurtz?
Just a couple.
There's a few. And there's also a lot of Q. As we know, I really like this because it gives a broad view of those who've been imbued with the Q powers.
So this is actually, so we've done a couple new things this year. The first picture you showed was the 2 characters that are featured in our campaign right now. Campaign is a feature that we shipped earlier this year. It introduces a new reward track for the players, and they're able to complete their daily missions and earn extra rewards for this. So in the campaign rewards, we feature 2 characters, and right now for this month we're doing Beatrice Esri Dax and High Roller Cisco. Kind of thought that worked with the Star Trek base thing. Here we have what's upcoming for the month of August. We're going to be doing a featured Q Mega event arc, and we'll be introducing a lot of the Q characters and others from the continuing that a lot of us have been kind of waiting for.
And I think, as you mentioned, Q's been important since day one. He's kind of the reason for the season, so to speak, that he's the one that has brought all of these characters together to, just toy with humanity.
This crafty ways.
And John Delancey has been a partner to you guys since day one, and not just, being there to provide a voice, but he's become very involved, correct?
Yes, he's been incredible. So like I said earlier, he's been working with our narrative designer, and earlier in the month of July, we released the episode 10, which explains what happened to the Q and kind of goes over a little bit about the timelines and what altered them in the first place. No spoilers.
All right, I don't think we have a ton of time left, but I would like to take some questions if anyone has questions for any of the game designers and want to know more about what's coming up. We have a microphone over here. Come on up. Oh, you guys are good.
All questions answered, no problem.
All questions were answered. Okay, I have one. Who is character number 758?
Wouldn't that be in the future because we're at 756? So I guess. So the ones being worked on. Actually,
Whoever's in the Tuesday 6-pack.
For this week, the Tuesday 6-pack, we've got some, we have the Clever and Crafty crew coming in. So we've been running some, we'll take packs and we'll mix some of them up depending on what characters are brand new. So right now, I've left that in the hands of my other designer to take care of some of those packs that are coming up. But as far as the new characters, some of these here are the ones that are going to be coming out starting next week with the new event. We have Data Q, Q is God, and we've got Amanda, sorry. My mind is going blank here looking at everybody. We've got Colonel Q, Junior Q, and finally Miss Q I'm really excited for too. So these are the people that you're going to be seeing up in the next few weeks.
It looks like we do have a question now.
Well, first of all, are you in the dealer's room? Or the reason I'm asking is, I was here when you guys were just getting started and things like that. I've downloaded it, but there's still aspects about the game I'm still trying to figure out. Is it like a tutorial or something like that that can help navigate it, I guess it would?
Yeah, so we launched 3.5 years ago, and I think since during that time we've been introducing a little bit more of tutorials. So when you first get into a new feature, we have we've got many different features. Now we are introducing a new tutorial system for the players, so when they first get in there, you should be seeing an introductory. Actually, Q hosts a lot of these introductions himself. He'll go over, this is what this feature is about, this is what your rewards, and this is what you're trying to do here. So you should be seeing some of that. If there's anything specific, you're welcome to email me.
Thank you.
I would say that for virtually any gaming thing that ever has popped up or erupted online, there are user forums and things like that, and people who become quickly obsessed with the game and will likely you can find the help you're looking for from other players online.
You're right.
In many cases, where you find out all kinds of things. I think in some cases things that the designers didn't know about their games. But yeah, I mean it's amazing, and I think particularly with Star Trek gaming, I think Star Trek fans tend to be so helpful to other fans and try and really like, oh no, here's what you need to do in order to get where you're going.
That's totally true, and I love reading the forums because I'm like, oh my god, they figured that out before like we even thought about that. Like, what's wrong with us? And it's really fun seeing what they're talking about, and I really appreciate it, especially the Star Trek Wiki is incredible. Like we've reached out to the creators of the Star Trek Wiki, and they're doing a phenomenal job keeping the game updated, and we love it.
Is there any chance we might see Dr. Nichols show up?
I actually don't know. I don't. So we will plan usually, as far as the characters go, about a few months ahead of time. Some things change, you know, in respects to like who can we get, what does this narrative work with, as far as the events we run too. So it's hard for me to tell you who's coming out. I wish I could. I know there's a lot of people. You know, even with having 700 plus characters, there's so many more we can do. So we always want to see what you guys want in the game, and that actually makes our jobs easier when we're planning these out too. So keep that in mind.
And everybody up here also has additional sessions this week talking in more depth and more detail about their games. I urge you to seek those out, and they'll all be wandering around, so you know, feel free to corner them and ask them why their favorite ship isn't in the game, Thomas. I know you are. How many ships do you have in the game at this point?
So there are different ways to measure it. In terms of visual variants of ships that look completely different from one another, it's probably in the 300s. In terms of statistical variants where they, you know, two ships might look alike but be slightly different stats, it's pushing, it's 750 something, I think. So yeah, lots of options.
So one ship per character.
Per character, yeah.
Okay,
We just
that
need
works
to
out well.
We can work together.
So, back to timelines. I have a friend who plays the game. Her name is Silver Rose. Yeah.
Love her.
She wants to know when there will be more Wesleys.
I'm sorry, what was that?
She wants to know when there will be more Wesleys.
We've been talking about it. Yeah. No, don't worry, we have a plan.
Don't you guys have the like ski resort Wesley? No? Oh yeah? Okay.
Oh.
I have a question for Chanel. On the game that you did for Star Trek, how many different characters can you be? I noticed that when I rode the ride, it was just fabulous, by the way. My friends had a great time. We couldn't believe it. And it's for free if you guys haven't gone and done it yet. So I sat in there and I noticed that when I looked over, all my friends were different characters. So I wanted to know how many different characters do you have? And there were men and women and Andorians and...
I was an Andorian this morning.
Yeah, so there are 6 randomized characters. So, so both female and male of Andorian, Vulcan, and human. So yeah, you can be, so a female Vulcan, a male Vulcan, a male Andorian, a female Andorian, a male human, a female human.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, great game. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I just wanted to say that, I mean, if you ever really wanted to be, you know, sort of put, you know, in place of like, you know, controlling a Star Trek ship, like actually feel what it's like to do that. This is that type of game. So pretty awesome, and as the person stated, it's free here, so I super encourage you to go out and try it. But it's also available currently in 125 Dave & Buster's stores across North America on 140 simulators. Thank you.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. It's over in the vendor's room, and you can just strap yourself in. And one of the things that, and Michael, you'll certainly be able to back this up, that was surprising to me when we started working actively on Star Trek VR experiences, is you would think that when you're like putting on the headset and you're strapping yourself in and all this, you think it's very isolating. But the way and where I think it really works best is in that social situation where you're part of a group of people, where there's other people playing with you, particularly when it's friends. It's insanely fun, and it becomes a very, very social experience. And I think that's one of the remarkable things about it, because it's a little counterintuitive because you're kind of isolating yourself, but with the microphones and the headsets, kind of right there with everybody else.
Yeah, it's super.
I was just going to say, absolutely, and I just wanted to say we've created this dome-style observation deck, so you move out right into space. So you have this very wide field of view, and it's just really awe-inspiring. And you know, another thing that's kind of new to this game is because you're in this research vessel, you're able to get, you know, all these awe-inspiring and flybys of the Enterprise, and that's pretty cool. And then also strafing the Klingon battle cruiser. So you get different perspectives that you've never been able to get before with the Star Trek game.
Yeah, I mean, same is true for Star Trek Discovery Away mission. You get to do things like simple social things. You can high-five a friend. If they're do that in VR, and it feels completely natural. Or if your buddy's injured, you can actually just hold them on the shoulder, and that's how we revive people when they get stunned in the game. So it's creating this touch, which is a thing that's missing in VR. A lot of VR that we play at home, for example. And with our location-based VR solution, it's just so much better with friends. You know, it's really incredible.
Go ahead. I think this will probably be our last question.
I just wanted to give everyone up on the stage an opportunity to tell us what your individual panels are, if you're doing any, and when they are, so that we can go to them. So when are your panels?
So our panel is going to be tomorrow at 10:30. It will be this stage at Double Check the Program, and it will be on blockchain technology, Star Trek, our game CSC, and how blockchain affects digital ownership and trends that we're seeing.
Cool. Our panel will be tomorrow at 12, I believe. It's at CBS All Access stage. So, yeah, we'll be talking all about Star Trek Discovery Away Team. And,
not all about it.
Well, not all about it. But, oh, yeah, I forgot to mention one thing. We got Mary Wiseman in it. She's doing Tilly. So, you know, check her out. I think she'll be at the panel, but, you know, maybe. John, can you make that happen?
Well, I think it's kind of pretty broadly hinted at in the trailer there. Jared?
So, unless somebody scheduled me for a panel, I'm not actually on tomorrow. So, yeah. I'll volunteer if somebody doesn't show up.
I'll go.
I'll just film it.
So we're having a player meetup later today at 4:30 to 5:30. Through the doors, I'm being told. Works fine.
CBS All Access stage on the other side of that wall, yes.
I'm actually also not on another panel, but even better, I will be at the Dave & Buster's simulator for a number of times during this whole convention, and be very happy to answer any questions you have, get more into the experience, or jump on the sim with you and compete with you for high score.
Yeah, you don't want to play against Chanel. I've done that.
Rubber banding?
So ours is at noon today, so you'll actually have to hop on a Klingon cruiser and slingshot yourself around the sun, and you'll get right to it.
Would that I could. Actually, I was there. It was fun. Yeah, if you didn't see it, you missed out. It was a lot of fun. So we're doing a couple things. We've got our Age of Discovery review panel tomorrow at, Friday at 2, which I believe is tomorrow. I don't know. I need that time machine to check. And then our panel with Anthony Rapp is going to be also here on Sunday at 2, and we have a meet and greet before that as well at Corpse Bar if you want to talk to some developers and get to know the team. So yeah, we look forward to seeing everybody.
Is your Meet the Developers thing just a ploy to get people to buy you drinks?
Absolutely.
Okay. Just wanted to be clear on that. All right, thank you very much, everybody, for coming. I hope you all had Star Trek Las Vegas. There's still 3.5 days to go, so pace yourselves and have fun. Thank you.
Cool. All right, thanks guys for joining the stream. Our panel will be tomorrow, so get ready. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.